Ah.
Greetings and salutations to the fans. Welcome back for Game 2 of this best of 3. EG taking on Team Liquid in an NA showdown and in a rematch of the We Play Dota group stage that we saw just a few days ago. Now, EG, as I talked about during Game 1, talked about it a lot during the initial draft phase, just giving the context of where these two teams are both in their play and relative to each other. EG is a team that everyone kind of just has to put a question mark next to, or at least has been up until the month of April. They've done really well so far in April, and more importantly, they're now beginning to put together what seems to be a win streak on Team Liquid. Now, they played Team Liquid 3 days ago in the We Play Dota group stage, and they won 2-0. So not only did they beat them, but they beat them pretty soundly, and now they're one game ahead in this best of 3. That makes it 3 times that they've met met Team Liquid in the last few days, and 3 times they've won. If they could put together another win, they'll get the sweep and knock Liquid out, who actually had the bye into round 2. And what's even more fun about this, what's even more crazy, is that EG was eliminated in the initial round, or first round of the G-1 Champions Western Qualifier by Absolute Legends. AL, however, had to withdraw due to some other obligations they had on their own end. They just didn't think they would be able to make the scheduled play times and dates. So EG got redemption. They got brought back from the grave, and now they're on their way to potentially knocking out one of the favorites to win the entire thing. I mean, whenever you look at the teams that are involved, a few are going to jump out at you. Alliance is one of those teams. Empire, obviously, they fell apart. But before then, maybe they were considered a favorite. But mostly, it's a 3-team race in the minds of most. I mean, any team can beat any team on any given day. But most people would say that this qualifier is going to go the way of either Liquid, Alliance, or Na'Vi. And EG, again, who were taken out of this for all intents and purposes, now not only fighting back, but one win away from advancing themselves into the 3rd round. Liquid, though, they do have the comfort of knowing that if they do lose here today, there is a loser's bracket that they will fall into. And they'll be able to potentially play their way back in from that. And that's exactly the way that they won the D2L championship, the last major title that they won. And, of course, I have the pleasure and honor of being the lead broadcaster for the D2L, so got a very up-close and personal look at Liquid during their run there. So playing from behind, something Liquid is not foreign to, and they're quite good at it, actually. So EG, while they do have a little bit more room to breathe, it better be on their A game. Otherwise, Liquid will tie this series up in a hurry. And we're actually going to see EG go ahead and first pick an EO again. Now, I talked a bit about the weaknesses of that hero in general, why in particular the Chinese scene does not have any priority on that hero, while in the Western scene, he is first pick, first ban worthy to a lot of squads. The way you beat an EO is just to pick a lineup that can fight in the mid game and that can benefit from running together as 5. And that's exactly what Liquid did in Game 1, actually. They had a Chen, they had a Gyrocopter who went Shadow Blade after Aqualay, so he had plenty of punch power at that phase of the game. They had the tools they needed. But in terms of execution, things just kind of fell apart a little bit. And by the time all was said and done, Fear had just bought everything. He had just walked up to the shopkeeper, said, "Give me all your money, or I will I will separate your head from your body just by flicking my sword at you, because I'm doing 8 million damage." And he had everything he could potentially have asked for. He had a Lincoln Sphere to worry about, to remove the worry, I should say, of lasso and abilities like that. He had an Abyssal Blade. He had a Heart. He had his Daedalus. He had a Mask of Madness. I mean, the guy was just monstrously farmed, and that's what you can do with this Finn. That's the comfort you have with that pick, is knowing that if the other team doesn't just get way ahead of you, there aren't many heroes who, at max capacity, have the potential to outcarry a Finn. I mean, you could talk a little bit about heroes like Phantom Lancer, and you could talk a bit. Oh, but see, the thing about a PL, that's not even a counter pick, because Finn's cleave, especially with a Magnus on team, and we will see Liquid answer with a Magnus pick of their own this time. That just really nullifies the big advantage that a Phantom Lancer gives you. So that's not a very viable counter pick. Tiny, maybe, just because of craggy exterior, but you still have to make sure you have plenty of damage to bring him down. And yeah, there we go, EG. Going to go ahead and grab Tiny this time instead of this Finn. Now we'll see how Liquid wants to answer up with this. With the Keeper of the Light and the Magnus, they're very wide open, very stable. Evil Geniuses, not quite in that regard. I mean, very rarely, once in a blue moon, you'll see a team roll the dice and decide to run an offensive tri-lane with an EO, and it can work. Probably the most creative way I've seen it done is you rush out 2 bottles on 2 heroes, and then you bottle crow 2 bottles at once out of that offensive tri-lane, just so the EO can constantly be replenishing himself, be replenishing the hero he's with. CK really works well if you want to do something like that. In fact, I want to say the one time I saw it done exactly that way. I take it back. I think I saw it twice. I can't even remember what team it was. I want to say it was an Asian team. It might have been Rattlesnake, actually. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But you get the CK and EO. Then you go ahead and pick yourself up an Ancient Apparition. And through Chilling Touch, your damage output very early. It's just insane. It's extremely easy to proc Cold Feet, so on and so forth. But that's just an option, but not one I believe Evil Geniuses is going to be looking to put to work for them now, as they have picked up the Nature's Prophet. Usually, situation like this, you'll probably see the Prophet either in the off lane or even starting out in the woods. You'll defensively try lane EO and Tiny. Look to get a high-value mid, a hero that's going to bring you a lot of mid-game punch. And, it could come in a variety of ways. We saw Bambo contribute quite a lot with Darkseer. That's a hero that could potentially be run mid and that has not been picked up yet. But with Liquid, we can already see they've got some heroes they're comfortable on. They've got Clockwork. Usually you see a Magnus, I would say Bulba might play it, but with Clockwork picked up, Bulba is one of the more excellent Clockwork players in North America. He's one, Bulba's one of those guys who plays the hero so well that if I get asked who's a good player to watch to learn to play Clockwork, I'll probably say Bulba. One of the first names out of my mouth. Kabu. In the Asian scene is very good as well. But anyway, Liquid with Keeper of the Light, Clockwork, they actually have the potential to offensively tri-lane with those two heroes. Magnus, obviously, generally wants to have a lane all to himself, be the solo mid, even a solo farming mag. Don't really like that much. But if they want to, they can offensively tri-lane. And it can be really problematic for a lineup like we're seeing EG already have. Because what is a Tiny and an EO going to do against the lineup that is so hard to engage in? You try to engage on a Clockwork, he's just going to drop the cogs. Your mana pool is already really, really small if you're Tiny to begin with. And even with an EO there to help you out with regen a bit, they can just basically shove you up under your tower and just allow the creeps to whittle the tower down while they use Keeper of the Lights Illuminate to mess with your jungle, to mess with your pulls and your stacks and so on and so forth. And it can really be problematic if you have the right other hero to go with it. And so Liquid, again, with some options open to them. I mean, the chalk for their lineup, when you look at it, would be Magnus mid, Keeper of the Light as a defensive tri-lane hero, Clockwork probably soloing the off lane. But just saying, as chalk as that is, as predictable as that is, there's still potential for them to do a lot more with that lineup than meets the eye immediately. EG not really in that boat. Against the heroes that are already out, it would be a big risk for them to do something like try to offensively tri-lane. Unless they wanted to build it around another hero than solo safe lane farm, the Tiny, that's an option they would have available as well. And I want to say we've actually seen EG run Nature's Prophet mid before. I know for a fact I've seen Liquid do it. So, I mean, again, flexibility, open lanes, they have a lot of options is what I'm trying to put across here. Taking a look at the bans, Liquid taking out heroes that they feel are going to be able to fight. And this is a nice way to deal with a Tiny. Tiny is what I call a peak and valley hero. Whenever he maxes out his Toss Avalanche combo, he's really strong. He can one-shot supports. He can damn near one-shot your carry if he gets on top of them, so on and so forth. But at, say, around 25 minutes to 30 minutes, all of a sudden he valleys out. All of a sudden, that's not nearly enough to reliably be able to fight and to be a big factor or a force on the map. That's when you see the transition of Tiny into a carry. Well, it's never really a transition either. Usually players are going to build Tiny as a carry all the way through and just hope to keep that valley period much shorter. And with Liquid taking out heroes like Tinker, like Puck, Tinker in particular I feel like is a really good hero to take out of the mix. Not only because of his split pushing and the ability for him to free the map up for a Tiny once he gets his boots to travel up, but Liquid is going to be able to much more safely push into towers with a hero like that out, knowing they don't have to push into March of the Machines. Now, Puck, same thing. Puck just has immaculate reach. He can really confound any kind of a team that wants to fight early on. The strength of Coil and Waning Rift at the very early levels is actually quite potent. It's easy to just see Puck as an initiator, but he is a great counter-initiator as well because of the silence. I mean, if Magnus is able to blink in, get an RP off, but Puck is right there and able to blink in or able to ride his orb in and then just silence your team once the RP goes off. Right-click at that stage of the game is just not going to be that good. So Liquid taking that out of the mix as well. EG, so saying, you know what, we got a Tiny, and we just don't want you to out-carry that Tiny. Taking the Shadow Demon out makes a ton of sense. Demonic Purge on a hero like Tiny who can be kited even once he is fully built. You don't want to have to deal with that. Don't want to have to deal with Tiny illusions, blowing your own team up once he gets super farmed. Then taking out two of the more potent single-target carries in the game in terms of Anti-Mage and the Faceless Void. So very, I would say, standard drafting. I mean, it's very easy to get inside the heads of these teams. I mean, it's the same thing with Liquid's last ban here, the Queen of Pain. What Liquid wants to do, and is going to want to do, is take advantage of how strong Keeper of the Light, Magnus, and Clockwork in particular are at the middle stages of the game. Gyrocopter is still in the game. That would be a very viable carry pickup for Liquid if they wanted to go that direction. Evil Geniuses, honestly, they have a lot of... There's, again... They can roll the dice here. They do lead the series 1-0. They could try to take a chance to do something unorthodox. I don't think they will. But Tiny is a hero who does like to have some other damage on his team. I mean, Prophet eventually will probably start to build as an off carry. You know, Jo usually the player who's going to be playing your Prophet. He just does not like to build, for the most part, your typical, you know, Midas mechanism for staff kind of a Prophet. He'll get up a mech maybe. And they're going to go and grab Tide. Okay. That, you know, again, jives with kind of what I was saying is EG wants to farm the Tiny. They want to get off to a good start, have stable lanes, keep map control, and not allow Liquid to take that away from them during Tiny's down phase. Liquid, on the other hand, going to be trying to fight, and what better way to give your lane some stability, or excuse me, your towers some stability at that phase of the game and make it hard to engage into them than to have a Ravage to rely upon. So the global presence out of EG is going to be quite massive as well. I mean, you always talk about the potential of an EO +1 to gank anywhere on the map, but now that's a 3-man gank with Nature's Prophet's ability to bounce around the map, be wherever he needs to be, and to contribute what he can to any gank attempt. And Liquid's next pick is really the one that's going to fascinate me. I mean, with the Gyro still available, I think Gyro would be a fantastic pickup. He benefits a lot from Empower, from Magnus. And, you know, again, if it's done chalk, it'll be a carry plus some other high-value hero, probably some kind of counter-initiation. And, yeah, they're going to go ahead and get Rubik. Feeling confident that EG is not going to take away whatever carry they have in mind. Just grabbing that up to begin with. Now, Ravage is considerably more difficult to steal away from someone than Reverse Polarity is. Reverse Polarity's AoE is okay. It's not bad. But it's very easy if you're Rubik to be outside of that and to just waddle up and be able to get Reverse Polarity, as we saw at the conclusion of Game 1, to get it before the Shockwave or the Skewer goes off. Ravage, not the case. Ravage is basically the size of the screen. You have to have a mobility item. And I talked about that briefly, about how I thought it hurt Liquid. The fact that they didn't have a mobility item on Rubik. They're actually going to grab a Chin. Now, that's a fascinating pickup to me. I'll touch on that in a minute. But not having a Force Staff, not having a Blink Dagger on Rubik, I felt like did cost Mike some opportunities to capitalize on his ability to spell steal. We saw him get a few good ones. They actually extended that game a lot longer. I want to say it went 10 minutes longer, if not more, just because he was able to get Fiend's Grip and to use it against Fear whenever he was diving past the racks. So that's something they're going to really need to keep in mind. If they want to get maximum mileage out of that Rubik, they're probably going to want to prioritize either a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff on him. Now, this Chin pickup, looking at the lineup they already have, it's a lineup that is, it's basically a guerrilla war. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, Gyro pickup. That's no surprise at all. Knew that was coming. But with that Chin pickup, what's fascinating is when you look at EG's lineup, it screams two things. Nature's Prophet, Tiny EO, they're going to want to basically play guerrilla warfare. They're going to want to get their kills and to make Team Liquid run as 5 as much as they can to try and make them feel to lack any confidence whenever they're split up. And then you have a hero like a Tide Hunter as your anchor kind of a hero that you stick under a tower. He's going to get a little bit of farm, maybe look to get a Blink Dagger. But for the most part, he's just going to be there in case they decide to go all out and commit. He blows Ravage. That gives time for EO, Tiny, and Nature's Prophet to arrive if they're not already there. So the question to me was, which side of that is going to be played into with that last pick? Are they going to pick a support that maybe adds to that in a different way, or maybe they were going to get a Bane just for the Enfeeble, just for Fiend's Grip on single targets and so on and so forth, or were they maybe going to get a more aggressive support? And turns out they just had something completely different in mind. And the way they want to use this Shen, I mean, we may end up seeing... I mean, Fear is going to be playing on the Tiny, so he will be farming him. So no surprise there. It's actually going to be Bambo playing on the Nature's Prophet this time with Milk on the Chin. It looks like Demon will be playing our Tide Hunter. And, yeah, they're actually going to mid the Tide here. So, I'll tell you... Looking at what they have, yeah, Liquid, are they going to this is so smart if they do this. I think they're going to offensively tri-lane it and solo farm Korok. And this is kind of what I was trying to get to. I'm racking my brain for how exactly EG plans to get a whole lot out of this Chin early. the problem I have is this is an absurdly weak tri-lane. Just absurdly weak, with a Wisp and a Chen in the jungle, and then a Tiny who has got 200 mana at level 1. All they got to do is put on pressure a little bit. One Illuminate, and that entire one Illuminate that connects on Tiny, and all of a sudden EG's playing on the other side of their tower. And yeah, this makes a stupid amount of sense. This is so smart out of Liquid. TC going to be taking Magnet. I'll run through the lineups in full. But, I mean, giving Demon priority here in mid is A-okay with me. I don't mind that one little bit. I was honestly thinking something along the lines of we might see Wisp Tiny duo mid. But doing it this way, I mean, this is just so chancy to me. And this is going to fall apart if they have a lapse in execution at all. This has the potential to fall apart on them. There's just so little that they can do. And yeah, we can already see Jo counter-warding. Very smart, making sure they maintain control of that jungle for themselves and for Milk. But yeah, this is going to be fun. And EG's going to have to play some very tight, very good Dota. Otherwise, this could end up blowing up in their face. And heard the cogs go down. Where are you, buddy? There you are. But so far, just Bulba up against Fear with the Keeper of the Light hanging around the backside. And yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about. Bulba's just going to be able to bully them around. Look at Fear's mana pool. Fear can't do anything. And yeah, he's going to have help from Jo. But this is just so potent. And with the ability to cog someone after a telekinesis or to telekinesis someone into the cogs,
not what you expected.
Landing an Illuminate's not going to be difficult at all. Yeah, and yeah, look at this. What was the plan here? Bulba's going to be careful. And wow. Okay, Liquid. I think my question was just answered. Obviously, the game plan from EG was going to be... I could just imagine it. You know, they're in raid call, they're talking, it was like, all right, what we can rely on here is the fact that Bulba is going to just stand and face tank the tower, and we're going to get a kill when we should have had no chance at all. And that'll give us a lead, and then we'll just dominate the lane. I'm just a little stunned. That hurts them quite a bit. That's going to give EG the ability to play a lot more forward and a lot more bravely than they might otherwise. Let's see who's playing who. Melk has mentioned handling Archim. We're going to have Wisp played by Jo. Tidehunter, as previously mentioned, handled by Demon. Tiny, going to be farmed up by Fear. And Sexy Bambo playing on our Nature's Prophet. TC on the other side of the river, going to be playing on our Magnus. He's setting up shop in mid. Korok going to be farming up the Gyro. Should have no problem farming against the Prophet. Rubik going to be handled by Fluff this time. Mike got other things to do. Bulba's going to be playing on our Clockwork as anticipated. And Mike, not on our Rubik in the hood. But this time, tell me that doesn't look like a hoodie. Every time I see that, I just picture like this little gangster Rubik running around. He's got earbuds in his ear. He's listening to Hypnotized by Notorious B.I.G. Rubik in the hood. But, anyway. 1-0. EG gets the first blood advantage. And we can already see some movement out of Liquid. They're going to try to rotate to mid here. And this is, you know, one of the weaknesses. Wow, Demon is just right down in there. Yeah, Demon, you're in trouble. He's going to be telekinesis, going to be dropped right on Magnus, right into the skewer. Beautifully done. And Mike actually missed, but it doesn't matter. He missed with the Illuminate. But they're able to get the job done. But in the meantime, Fury is able to continue to soak up some experience. A 1-to-1, Liquid gets themselves on the board. And this tri-lane, again, going a little bit better than it really has any business going for EG at this moment. I mean, Fear's not setting the world on fire, don't get me wrong. He's still just got 9. But really, he should have none. Or a lot closer to none, we'll put it that way. Now, Bulba going to be Avalanche. There's the Tether Stun to follow it up. Tosses him back to Melk, and down go the Cogs, though. And here comes help. Can they clean this up? Bulba will end up being brought down. Now, Fear, way up front, and they're not going to be able to get a reprisal kill. Little surprise there. And Mike didn't even get off an Illuminate. Or he didn't get off a secondary Illuminate, I should say. Bulba back up and ready to fight. You look at the health bars. Everyone on EG is hurting right now. But so far, Liquid really has not been able to capitalize as well as I think they anticipated they could on this tri-lane. Oh, Milk. This could be a problem. Oh! Give the man a sniper. That made no sense. Give the man a star on his helmet. Give the sniper a star on his helmet. That's exactly what I was trying to say. But I said give the man a sniper because obviously, since he snipes so well, he needs another one to help him out. A spotter. I should have played it off that way. Should have played it off and meant that I should have said give the man a spotter. But that's okay. 2-2. 4 kills on the board. We're 4.5 minutes into the game. They're both split evenly. And we'll take our first look at the goal graph in about 5 minutes. It just kind of begun to be what I do, is try to get an idea of where the golden experience graphs stand for the first time every 10 minutes. Korok, the big winner so far. He's sitting at 28 last hits. Demon, despite being ganked, is actually doing quite well for himself, too. He's got 25 there in mid. Mag a little bit behind, but still in the ballpark at 19. And back to Bambo. And this is going to be getting harder and harder for Bambo. If it's played correctly, he'll be able to do some damage to Korok, and we're seeing that now. Treant's just really annoying to deal with in a solo situation like that. He just has to make sure he doesn't allow himself to get into a hole. Don't take too much flak damage if you can help it. Prioritize your own health bar as opposed to whittling at the enemy's health bar. You do that, a Prophet can handle a gyrocopter just fine. Fluff now rotating his way up the top. It's going to dip down into the river. Let's see where he wants to go. Hang on here in mid. Ravage is going to be blown on TC. Milk is there. And Magnus gets the skewer off. But they do manage to bring him down. So good movement out of EG. Nets them another kill. Down here at bottom, Bulba's in trouble as well. They're going to be able to get another kill here. At least they should. And one more auto attack will do it. 4-2. They lose Bulba. They lose the Clockwork, I should say. The Rattle Trap and Magnus. In a span of about 30 seconds. 6 minutes in, 6 kills on the board, and EG off to a rip-roaring start. And again, seeing the way that these tri lanes shaped up, I'm still a little surprised this is taking place. I mean, and don't get me wrong, EG's done a great job. But the advantage in that offensive tri lane should have been Liquid's, and they just kind of threw it away and have yet to regain it. And because of that, Milk is feeling a lot more comfortable moving around the map. Jo and Fear are playing a lot more aggressively now. Bambo might be in trouble. TC's there. He's got an RP if he wants to spend it. Gonna go ahead and skewer him, and just gonna use it to make sure. And call down. Call it fireworks. Send the man off with a 2-gun salute. 4-3. Liquid does make up a little bit of ground. Not the highest priority kill there, but a decent one. Picking off the Prophet. Prophet, so far, doesn't look like he's going to be picking up a Midas. Usually, I mean, especially there. I take it back. He might just be saving for the recipe. You would think he would have bought a Glove of Haste as soon as he got skewered, if he was, though. We'll see. Demon, level 7, has his bottle. He's actually got enough for Arc Boots. Yeah, they're just going to go on Fluff, and beautiful transition from Bambo. Anchor Smash doing a lot of damage. And, oh, wow, he stutter-stepped it. Now the cogs go down, and there's the counter from Liquid. They're going to get 2 kills here. Don't know what happened there. Big miscommunication and a big misplay, and all of a sudden a game that was beginning to look like it was going to be solidly in their favor as the early game reached its midway point. There's a turnaround, they lose 2, and Prophet dies for the second time in as many minutes. And yeah, that was just goofy, for lack of a better way to put it. Either way, Liquid reclaims the kill lead. Taking a look at Mike, we can see he's now stacking these Ancients.
Bottom tower is under attack.
And Fear back at the base, or at least he was, has rotated to top now to farm. And we'll see how they want to play this out. Liquid, at this point, with the mag being level 8, he's got an Invis rune. Gyrocopter, looks like he's going to go drums. He's not going to complete his Aqualay. He's got a bottle. He's got a bracer back at the base. Get himself up a set of drums, then he'll make his decision after that. But, you know, again, with the Tiny on the board, there is going to be a window of opportunity so long as you keep it close. And that's going to be what they build for. They're going to build for... Oh, hang on. Oh, Korok. There you go. Relocate, toss the Wisp, and down he goes. Bambo there. TC's there, though, and now he's got Fluff. RP's going to catch 3 if he wants to spend it, and he does. Do they have the damage follow-up? There comes the Illuminate from downtown. Oh, that's such a ball buster. They're going to get Bambo. But, oh, hang on. Just heard a Ravage go off. And, yeah, Demon ravages using Anchor Smash. Mike forced to use his wand charges. Now thinks better of it, has to withdraw. And we're going to see them get a return kill on Bulba. Jo might end up dead. Illuminate catches a couple. 2 down on each side. What did he get? He got Anchor Smash. Actually, he got Gush. Uses it. There are a lot of flying heroes in this game right now. A lot of heroes being tossed about by Fear. In the end, it's a break even, at least for now. Korok pursuing out, or looking to pursue out, following his respawn. Was going to check the health of Wisp and Tiny to see how narrow their escape was. Speaking of narrow, IX Mike with every bit of 18 hit points. And then heard the Ravage sound. Demon went in and Demon Army style, marched himself in and used the Ravage. 7-7 as the dust settles, though. And we're right at 10 minutes. How about we take our first look at the gold graph? No surprise, the kills are close, the towers are even, and the gold just a little bit outside of that central line. 500 in favor of EG right now. The experience right around that difference as well. But to me, that's a win for EG. Given what Liquid drafted, given how much of an advantage this tri-lane should have had, the fact that EG has any lead, however minute, is pretty good for them, to be frank. And soon we're going to see Chen, no doubt about it, get himself a mech. Yeah, he's already got the headdress. He's got enough for the buckler right now. So he's about 800 gold away from completing it. Liquid under cover of smoke, looking for a target. They do drop a very aggressive ward. If they can capitalize on this, I mean, this is what their lineup needs to be doing right now. They don't want to be in a situation like they were last time. And then another really good ward, by the way. I love that ward spot. So good. Especially at this stage of the game. This piece of real estate here is just such a thoroughfare of movement.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But don't want to be in a situation like they were before where they just let Fear get out of hand. Bambo in the meantime split pushing bottom. Mike is there. He's level 6, so can TP someone in if he needs to via his ult. Not TP, but bring someone in. Teleport. And Liquid looking for a potential dive here. Demon's over in the woods. The Wildkin Ripper up. Hang on. Oh, Fluff, you better run, son. Avalanche uphill. TC's going to skewer. Manages to catch just the one, though. They do manage to kill one off. And Hand of God going to be spent. Good. Sprout. There's the Ravage. Going to catch 2. TC cleaned up. And EG is just rolling right now. And again, with the Chin pickup, you expect... This is kind of what was bizarre about that pickup to me. They have a lineup that looked very defensive, that looked, well, excuse me, not very defensive so much as guerrilla style. Defend, 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 go get a kill. Defend, 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 go get a kill. And now, very good hook. They manages to catch 2 with the cogs. Bambo's trapped in. Here's the call down. No real way to answer this. Bambo is going to end up dropping. Bulba makes it away with less than half health. So they get 1 return kill at the very least. And in the meantime, Tiny has taken a tower. And Demon, donk. Eats that, but more farm for Fear. And yeah, he's only 1,500 gold away from his scepter. In a tri-lane that should have been very problematic for him. Should have been very problematic for him. And the way they're doing this is actually really smart. They're now that I look at it, I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020. They're basically playing that same guerrilla style kind of approach that I thought they would. I mean, it's not that I'm brilliant. I mean, it's just obvious whenever you look at the draft they had with Tidehunter, Tiny, then the global presence of EO and Nature's Prophet. But what they're doing is incorporating the Chin in a way that is effective for both. They're moving Chin slowly across the map, then just synergizing whatever global presence ganks they want based on his positioning, and they're playing very reactionary with him as well. 13 minutes in, we got 17 kills on the board. A lot of action here in game number 2. If you're just tuning in, this is game 2 of the best of 3 between EG and Team Liquid here in our second round of the G1 Western Qualifier. I'm AC here on One More Game TV2. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Make sure, again, to check out G1.2p.com, your coverage hub for the G1 League. Asian Qualifier, already donezo. Western Qualifier, still plenty ahead. So all of your information, schedules, brackets, you name it, you can find it right there at G1.2p.com. So, Mike making his way to headdress. Right now, both teams have stabilized a little bit. We can see pressure being applied in a few different places. Liquid, to be honest, is beginning to seem a little bit scattered. And Up, here we go. We're going to have a fight here in mid. There's a hook. Going to catch up with Jo. Demon has Ravage in 5 seconds if he wants to spin it. Reverse Polarity is going to be available too. Down go the cogs, and Demon going to think about it. Call down's there, and nope, he's not going to use it. Just sacrifices himself. Instead of blowing the Ravage. He's going to be back up in 28 seconds. And probably the right call to make there. In the meantime, Bambo continues to split push. So even if Liquid decides to take, or try to take this tier 1, they should get an exchange for it. Someone needs to react to that sometime soon. Fear just continues to farm away. Just continues to farm away at this point. And yeah, look at this creep wave. Trance, creeps, you name it. We got one making his way up here. That's TC. He can, of course, melt the wave down. But the top tier, the mid tier 1, continues to stand. So will the top tier 1, but it's going to be quite a bit lower. Back to the gold. We can see it was up in EG's favor. A couple of fortuitous ganks and kills for Liquid, though, helped them out considerably. The experience has actually gone the way of Liquid now at this point. So another very tight game, and what could be another game that goes very, very late. And yep, Mag gonna go ahead and deny this tower. See, yep. A little bit of an infusion of gold for EG. Not quite as much as they would have liked, but still not too shabby. That mech gonna be done at about 600 gold on IX Mike. And yeah, Fear just continuing to farm himself up. I thought he already had the Ogre Club. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought he had another piece of it, and he does. So the Blade of Alacrity is already back there. He is gonna have his Scepter up before 20 minutes easily. 400 gold away. And that's the thing about Tiny with a Wisp. When you have Overcharge to make up for the fact that you're not swinging that stick very fast until you get your items, Overcharge helps quite a bit. So once he gets Scepter, he's going to be able to start team fighting. And usually, again, the peak and the valley nature of Tiny and the way you build him and the way his effectiveness tends to feel throughout the game, he's going to be able to fight much more effectively than he would with any other hero. Any other hero on the team. And yeah, 300 gold away, so he's basically got it now. TC's very close to his Blink Dagger. And this, as is always the case when you have a Magnus in a game, Blink, Reverse Polarity going to be a key factor, but even more so in this game. Just because of the reset button that is Ravage. The fact that Demon, if he's not caught with it, if he's not properly focus fired, or at the very least, if you land an RP and you don't immediately blow up a high priority target, you're going to have to continue to fight through a Ravage. That just makes the value of that ability and the execution of it that much more important. So far, again, teams both beginning to stabilize a bit. Both looking for that timing window. Both looking for some key items. TC has his Blink Dagger now, so that'll help out considerably. Mech is complete now on IX Mike. Bulba. We'll see what he wants to build. Looks like he may be getting himself up a set of treads. Back to Demon. It's about 800 gold away from his Blink Dagger. And Bambo has yet to make a major choice. Could one-shot by his treads right now if he really wanted to. Don't think he's going to be getting a 17-minute Midas, so pretty sure we can write that item off. And Liquid just holding the line. But the thing is, I mean, as good as Gyro is, I feel like holding the line is actually a benefit for EG. Because it's not going to be too much longer until Fear can... Yeah, I mean, he's already got up his stick. Swinging the Scepter. And, yeah, I mean, with Overcharge adding to his attack speed, one of the big weaknesses of the hero is all but erased. And he's just going to be able to farm faster and faster and faster here in mid. Looks like we might have the makings of a fight. We'll see when EO and Tiny want to commit. So far, Liquid just rattling their saber. More time for Bambo to farm, more time for these two to farm. And they can push this until the very moment that Liquid commits. Demon has to be careful, though. He's going to have Arc Boots up in 4 seconds, but has to watch his mana. Being caught without Ravage. Oh, wow. Chen actually sent him home. So he's not there. Looks like they're just going to sack this. Here comes the TP back from Demon. And are they going to try to re-engage? Yeah, I mean... Oh, there's a hook. They're going to manage to catch Demon. There's the Gush, though, and Bulbat didn't have the mana! He just hooked in with no mana. Demon going to be tossed in the air. Hand of God keeps him up. There's the Ravage. Caught 2. Korok not affected because of the BKB. Here comes Tiny, though, chopping wood. Fluff Really low, as is Korok. They're going to manage to clean up at least one. In the meantime, though, you can even see where Tiny went. Korok going to be bailed out by TC. Don't think they can follow it up. TC may have just sacrificed himself there. Bambo did TP in. Yep, there's the toss avalanche. And what did he get? Looks like he managed to get toss. So Melk actually goes on a killing spree there. They end up trading 2 for 3. They did lose the tower, but they're going to get the return on this tower here easily. And 2,200 gold in Fear's inventory. This Tiny is getting big quick. He's going to be able to grab a Hyperstone next. If he could just buy it right now if he wants it. Having a Hyperstone and a Scepter up at this stage of the game is enormous, if that's going to be what Fear decides to do. He could end up going something like a Manta style. Very stable way to build him. He actually is buying a Helm of the Dominator. Okay, now that is interesting. That is fascinating, actually. But I think it does give credence to what I was saying about the fact that EG now is feeling comfortable to fight. Picking up the Helm of the Dominator, I mean, the lifesteal's nice, especially whenever you've got that much cleave and so on. But the armor from it is another big reason you pick that up. We're going to see him jump into the 12 armor range once this thing is dropped off. And that's going to allow him to fight much more confidently against Gyrocopter in particular. Now, the way Korok has decided to build him is the ultra defensive build. Build all of your survivability items first. Get up your drums and your BKB before you do anything else. Then build damage. Problem you run into is what we saw in that engagement under the tier 1 mid, though. Did he survive a long time? Yeah, he did. TC helped him out. But the damage just wasn't there for an extended fight. And that's kind of the big liability that you want Gyrocopter to be. You want Gyrocopter to be a hero where you go, okay, we need to win this fight in 10 seconds or less, or he's just gonna pound us with flak cannon, and everyone's gonna die slow, painful deaths.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
I love Melk. Melk always has rippers. All the time. Doesn't matter what's going on, he's got 2 rippers with him. All the time. In the meantime, Liquid does decide to back out. Fear already has enough to grab a Hyperstone again. Basically has enough. If he wants to. He may just go straight up Satanic and just say, you know what, I'm fine. I'm just going to go win now. I'm going to win the game at 30 minutes on the strength of Melk being level 11, which he's almost level 10, so he'll have level 2 Hand of God very soon. And so he'll have level 2 Hand of God and he'll have his mechanism. In the meantime, Liquid has not abandoned the siege. They're continuing to try to limit the map, but yeah, I mean, EG, and this is one of the problems you face. If you're going to do that, you need to be able to commit to it. They just didn't commit to that tower. And they want a 5-man team fight, but oh, there's a Ravage. It's actually going to catch a couple. Oh, and there's Fear. Relocates in. And yep, he's going to catch Fluff. RP spent and did nothing. TC just RP'd on the ward spot. They're going to be able to get a return kill, but Fear's still up and standing, and that's all that really matters. Korok's going to have to run here. Pops the BKB, but yeah, I mean, even with the magic damage, we can see how tanky Fear happens to be. 2 down on the side of Liquid. Homing Missile might actually be enough to lock him down. He made the mistake of isolating himself, and no help came. So a little bit of a miscommunication costing EG there. That shouldn't have happened the way it did. And Pulpa, oh wow! Demon waiting in the wings. And yeah, the Ripper's on the high ground. You know why? Because that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. 15 to 14. They end up losing Demon. Bulba does end up surviving. Very bizarre fight there. I didn't even really see how TC got to the high ground. I'm going to guess he was telekinesis there. Going to guess. I mean, looking at how the various ways he could have, it had to be that. Poor Rippers. Poor guys. Served Milk very, very consistently. Liquid going to go ahead and try to take a Roshan off of that. They should be able to get this pretty easily, I think. But again, when you have EO, Fear could be there immediately if he wants to be. Roche is dropping, but dropping slowly. EG doesn't look like they really know what's going on. Just look at the myriad of vision that they have here from Liquid. They just have so many wards in this particular area. Sentry and Vision both. Yeah, EG just not even going to contest it. The big turning point there was Fear getting himself a bit out of position. He got separated from the whole pack. So even though the damage output coming off of Gyro was very negligible in terms of right-click at that point. Rocket Barrage isolated against a single target. 690 magic damage. And that basically boned them. There was no way they could really continue to fight once he was taking that much damage. Liquid trails in kills, but we look at the gold, we can see they're trailing, but not by much in terms of the gold graph. Evil Geniuses does lead by about 2,000 in both categories. And that Tiny just continues to get bigger and bigger. He's opted to go pure damage. And again, that's the strength of what EO brings to him. Not opting to get attack speed, instead just focusing on getting modifiers is probably the way to put it for his auto attacks. Getting the lifesteal, getting the crit, getting the pure damage that comes. And they gotta be careful. They may be walking into a trap here. And Hook is gonna connect. Fear is just gonna blow Bulba up, basically. There's the blinding light. Now the RP is gonna be spit. Can they do enough damage? They don't have any help. The relocate gets them to safety. And even though Liquid had the personnel there, just unable to do damage quick enough. Demon's now under cover of smoke. He's moving his way through the jungle. He's going to be spotted by that ward. And he's going to be careful. He could end up dead. Bambo has a Shadow Blade of his own. Looks like he's going for a Scythe of Ice now that he's added the Ultimate Orb to his inventory. This is just a weird game, to be honest. We're seeing a lot of good plays, a lot of, to be frank, sloppy plays, but more than anything, it's entertaining Dota. Looks like they're going to trade Tier 2 for Tier 2. As Demon's hooked up with Fear and with Milk here in mid lane. They have a lot more pushing power than Liquid does. And they're going to go and send one back. That's going to be TC. In the meantime, that bottom tower stays pretty healthy. They're going to rotate through the jungle. And Fluff does manage to get down a ward. There's the Gush on the Fluff. Demon going to be telekinesed. Sent back. Illuminate's going to be there, but not nearly enough to prevent this tower from dropping. Tiny gets another infusion of gold. In the meantime, Jo coping with bottom as best as he can. And we're going to have a quick pause. 26 minutes, 24 seconds into this game. And looks like there is some kind of an error. Hopefully, it can be resolved. 30 kills. Split right down the middle. 15 apiece. Take a look at that gold graph again. It is in favor of Evil Geniuses, but not tremendously. This game, and yeah, the experience is honestly about as close to zero as you could ask at this stage. Once again, I want to remind you guys for all of your information and your coverage hub for the G-1 Champions League, G1.2p.com is where it's a site that needs to be in your bookmarks, and it's where you need to be leading up to every single G1 match. Get all of your info, get your schedules, get interviews, articles, write-ups, you name it. Not to mention your coverage hub so far as broadcasters and the opportunity to interact with us live via Twitter. There's a nice little embedded widget. It's really cool. We try to tweet during our downtime. I try to answer as many as I can. But I'm just reading what that says. Wait, do you want to fight or not? It's like, hey, Liquid, you want to fight? No, it's okay. Let's just go farm. Play ball! There you go. It's my best umpire's impression. And TC's actually going to miss there. Bulba going to go ahead and throw out the hook. Drops the cogs as well. Now they're going to be able to telekinesis the Tiny. Tiny going to be dropped down. Can they clean him up? That's the question. In the meantime, Hand of God is spent to try and keep them up and fighting. Bambo's there, but doesn't have any mana. Mana leak on Fear slowed him down, but he should be able to make it away nonetheless. If they can survive without losing anyone, this is a big win, and Demon is just going to not use Ravage. Thought he would. Not going to be the case as we see one TP get them to safety. Jo going to be relocated back to safety. He has to stay alive for another... No! 2 seconds to spare. So EG takes the tower, but it costs him 2 heroes. Keeping Fear alive, though, very important. Let's go 2,600 gold. Gonna be able to pick up a Demon Edge right now if he wants to, though. Every time I've said an item he's gonna pick up, he picks up something different, and he picks up a piece. Like he didn't get a Satanic or build a Satanic, he got a Helm. Then I said he might get something else. He gets a Crystallis. So this time he'll get the Hyperstone, just so he can have bits and pieces of everything, right?
Radiant's top tower
In the meantime, Liquid does manage to bring down the Tier 1 top. They're going to try to TP react here. TC's right there. He's got an RP. He's going to spin it. Manages to catch them both. Bulba right beside them. And a beautiful skewer catches them both. And Fear just going to fight it out. Going to toss and try to clean up Bulba. He's doing a lot of damage. Shockwave, a good hook. Shockwave did good damage too, though, is what I was going to say. And in the meantime, they lose their courier. Who killed the courier? Where'd that poor guy go? I hope I can click it. Don't know how they lost their courier, but it's a damn shame. Either way, the last 2 minutes, absolutely, Liquid got to be loving it. 19-15 now. That goal graph in their favor for the first time since the word go. That experience graph in their favor for the second time since the word go. Not just in their favor, but pretty significant swings as well. And EG playing a little too aggressive, little too overextended, and paying the price for it. Liquid going to be able to take yet another tower. They still trail in terms of towers, but map control now becoming a much more even affair. And they're going to go ahead and try to lay into the tier 3. Korok's quite low, face tanking the tower. And they are going to go ahead and back now. And we'll see what what EG wants to do. This is one of those moments when, yep, I was just going to say when EG smokes. This is one of those moments when EG loves to just smoke and immediately go headhunting after they lose a fight. And that's what we're going to see. We've got Jo and Fear doing their thing in the jungle, while Demon's under cover of smoke, as is Melk. They're going to be looking for a target. The warding from EG has not been that spectacular, and that's really the key element in any lineup that's built around an EO. Last time around, it didn't matter that much because the fights were coming so quickly. It was Liquid trying to force the issue and keep Sven off of farm. So they just tended to use their relocates, not for ganks, but to initiate fights or to respond to fights that were already breaking out. But looks like everyone's going to make it away safely. Fear did pick up his Demon Edge, so he will be completing his Daedalus, about 400 gold away from that now. And then after that's where things get interesting. Does he finish his Satanic, or does he go Assault Cuirass? I have to wait and see. I love this choice of Melk. He's going to have a Scepter up very soon. And he's quite a ways from 16, so it's not going to be at full peak efficiency for a while. But just the ability for EG to let Tiny do his thing. I mean, and it's basically a situation almost exactly like we saw in Game 1. Almost all of their damage is going to be predicated on Fear. I mean, they're going to have a little bit coming out of Bambo. You know, he picked up a Shadow Blade. He's going to be able to prioritize one good target. And once he gets a Scythe of Ice up, that's a big, big help in other ways, obviously. But it's all about the Tiny. All about the big man with icicles on his back. And they're going to have to determine what their number one goal with him is going to be. But with Melk picking up his Scepter, the ability for him to heal and mech his team through a fight, just to keep that Tiny up, and Tiny's going to be the big factor. I mean, he'll try to hit as many people as he can, but all of that healing is prioritized on Tiny, no doubt about it. Just allowing him to stay up and fighting, and to keep swinging that big stick, is going to determine whether EG's lineup can peak itself out or not. The problem they're going to face is, at this stage, the initiation potential is superior on the side of Liquid. They have great initiation and reach from the Clockwork. They have Blink, RPing, of course. And they have good single target initiation from the Rubik. And wow, Gyro actually just got a kill somewhere. Just killed off Bambo. Holy crap. That's not your jungle, Bambo. That's not your side of the map, friend. But, so, you know, EG, and again, they're no slouch in that department. Blink Dagger is done on Demon, so, I mean, it's been done for a while. And this is the kind of opportunity they want. They want the chance, and they're just going to go right for it. TP's coming in. There's the relocate. Oh, Avalanche caught 3! He manages to toss Bulba. Blinding Light going to buy a little bit of time, but Bulba melts immediately. Korok trying to do what damage he can. Wisp is already down. Here comes Demon. Hand of God spent. Fear going to be up and fighting again. Demon going to be looking for a Ravage. And so far, hasn't even spent it. He's got 2 beautiful targets here. And there's the Avalanche, going to split the wickets. Korok doing a lot of damage. There it is. Korok pops the BKB, though. He's able to tank through it. TC going to be knocked down, and he got it. He stole Ravage. Turned it back against them. Fluff stole Ravage and managed to turn it against EG. And Liquid takes a fight when they need it the most. Tidehunter and the Nature's Prophet still up. Bambo going to go ahead and go right back to top. This will certainly be a tier 2 bottom, going the way of Liquid. Great play by this man right here. Remember when I was talking about mobility items and how important it is to have a Rubik that can steal spells? Fluff showing off the good stuff there. 23-17. 1 tower remaining for Evil Geniuses, and Liquid extends their lead. 5,000 gold to lead for them now, coming up on 10,000 experience. And EG cannot afford to lose too many more fights. Honestly, the way they initiated that fight was a little bizarre. The EO and the Tiny got there a little early. Demon held on to Ravage as long as he could. He's going to be looking to build another Refresher's Orb. He's picked up his Oblivion Staff. Mike's actually picked up Assange. So, most likely going to be moving the direction of a Halberd. Which, of course, makes an immense amount of sense. Korok, with his Butterfly done now, as well as his own lifesteal, he's in pretty good shape. You look at the net worth tab, you can see he's actually on top of Fear right now. Fear did go ahead, and he did, at least completed his Daedalus this time, but now grabbing up his Hyperstone. Liquid might get themselves another Aegis in the meantime. We're just short of 35 minutes in, and EG doesn't seem to have a clue. Yep, Roche down to half health. This will be a free Aegis for Team Liquid.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
Demon's still quite a ways from that Refresher Orb. Liquid has really just put their initiation to use as best they can. The BKB timing was really good on Korok, by the way. And he actually went ahead and finished a Satanic. His damage is excellent. He's hitting for 300 when he's empowered. He'll be able to BKB and Satanic himself through a lot of Tiny's right-click damage. And they're going to go ahead and smoke and look for a target. In the meantime, Bambo basically baiting up here. The rest of EG, or the majority of them, hanging around in the jungle. But Tiny is now level 17, so level 3 grow is not something to sleep on. It is quite a difference when Tiny hits level 16 and he has 3 points in a grow. Makes it a lot more difficult to deal with him. Craggy exterior as well is going to be something that's going to come into play. What I want to see is what he's going to do. Is he going to just save up for the Reaver and get lifesteal of his own? Or is he going to go ahead and finish the AC? Both of these teams beginning to play a bit more cautiously. Except for Demon. He's just kicking in the woods, 'cause that's what Demon does. He's never where you expect him to be. Bambo. 3,200 gold in the bank. Just about enough to finish his Scythe of Ice now. Mike a ways from Halberd, unless he's got it on the way to him. And he does. So Mike actually did just finish his Halberd. That's a clutch item for them. Mike being able to get that off to take away Tiny's ability to fight, even if just momentarily. Especially if they time it up right. If they sync up the Halberd with the BKB popping and the lifesteal on Gyrocopter. Huge, huge influence. Speaking of Gyro, Korok is just farming his butt off. Tiny has closed the gap a little bit. Not nearly enough. And at some point, EG's just going to have to commit to try and take a fight. And Liquid says, you know what, that's fine, guys. We'll just push your tier 3. Korok is hitting hard and hitting very, very fast. Ulti from Prophet does a bit of damage. And Korok actually stunned out with the stomp from the Centaur. Yep, and Fear just says, I can push faster than you, and he can. Glyphs go off on both sides, and we're going to have relocate. Going to be used to try and get down here. They're not even, haven't even brought down the tower yet, so they're just going to trade racks for racks, it looks like. Glyph already used. Actually, that Rax is still standing. Not for long. Down it goes. Now TC is going to TP back. That's actually a win for EG. And if they get Korok, it's actually a real big deal. Is he going to lose the Aegis for free here? He is going to pop the BKB. He has lifesteal with the Satanic if he wants to use it. There's Hand of God used. There's Bulba wants to get in the fight with a hook. And Demon will be cleaned up. In the meantime, Korok cleans up the rest of it. Fear going to catch him and pop the Aegis. Now, if they can lock him down and get the Aegis for free here in an exchange that otherwise was directly even. Oh, there's the RP, but also the Ravage. Demon Bob back, Ravage, RP both go off. Now the fight ensues. Bulba's in trouble about the drop. Fear gonna be sent back to the well in a body bag. And EG sent scrambling, buyback from Fear. Korok lost the Aegis and all that, might be overstaying his welcome once again, and Fear's gonna pursue him out. Fear looking for a target. He's going to be mana leaked, and there's the blink and the gush as well as the toss. Call down's going to be there. They want to re-engage. Telekinesis on Fear. He's down below half health. Can he take through it? He can! Kills two with one swipe! However, the toss picked up by Fluff. They're going to be able to turn it right back around, and Fear taken out for the second time in 60 seconds. He bought back, did damage, but Liquid able to survive and continue to extend that lead. Korok, TC, and Fluff all still standing. Korok can heal up via the Reaver, via the Satanic. And they may just rotate and look for another set of racks. Bambo's thinking the same thing. Bambo with his Scythe of Ice done, now laying into the tier 3 bottom. Fluff's gonna catch him, telekinesis him, bring him back. TC's there, that's a dead Bambo. See you in the well, brother. 39 minutes in. We've got 48 kills on the board, the majority of which belong to Liquid. Take a look at the gold, 7,500, the advantage for Liquid. In excess of 10,000 experience. However, if there's anything that EG has on their side, it's time. Tiny, and we've seen it time and time again. We saw it in every tournament you can imagine. If it's a big enough tournament, long enough tournament, you've seen it at some point. Saw it on the stage in Seattle at the International 2. Saw it in D2L Season 1, D2L Season 2. The thing about Tiny, the bigger he gets, it's not just that he gets hard to kill and he hits real hard. Your margin for error shrinks the later the game goes. Liquid is in a very comfortable lead, but EG is not out of this at all. If you lose a fight to a Tiny on your side of the river and he's still standing past 40 minutes, he will just mega your base. Refresher Orb gonna be the choice for TC. He's got his own Oblivion staff up and running. Don't know that he has any. Yep, he actually just completed it. Demon, not quite there yet. And Liquid, playing very confidently. Something I haven't talked a whole lot about, but is a really big factor in a lot of these fights is blinding light. 80% miss percentage. Coming out from IX Mike. Cannot overstate how important that is when you're talking about a game that is becoming a showdown of two carries. Bambo has to be a factor. And yeah, I just noticed Gyrocopter has a freaking rapier. Yeah, that happened. Well, I think that kind of illustrates the point. This is not, unheard of. If there's any hero that, honest to God, getting a rapier at this point in the game is not considered weird, it's Gyrocopter. Problem is, they cannot lose any fights now. Granted, if they win the next one, they'll probably just win the game. But if that Gyrocopter dies and Tiny gets a hold of it, it's GG. Tiny manages to lash that rapier onto the end of his tree trunk. There'll be nothing Liquid can do. Now they're going to go for it. They're going to manage to catch Demon. Demon's going to have to use it or lose it. And there's Hand of God. Keeps him up and fighting. Skewer's going to be there. BKB's popped in. The RP going to be used on Fear. Fear locked down. Now going to be skewered back out of the cooldown. Now the Ravage comes out. There was an RP as well. Everyone's stunned out. BKB popped on Korok. Fear in trouble. And Fluff for the second time this game stole Ravage. Turned it against them. And that should be that. EG jumped out to a 1-0 lead in this series. Looked like they were going to run away with it like they did the last time these two teams met 3 days ago. Liquid, though, had other things in mind. Phenomenal play from everyone on the side of Liquid. Fluff in particular played a pretty badass game of Dota, not gonna lie. The man was an absolute monster. Stole Ravage twice. Stealing Ravage once is difficult enough. Stole it twice. 42 minutes, 4 seconds, the official game time. 20 kills to 33, the official kill score, and we're going to a game 3. We're going the distance. Evil Geniuses, who was given a chance for redemption after AL dropped out and gave them their spot in round 2. Now tied up with Team Liquid in this North American showdown here at the G-1 Champions League Western Qualifier. I'm AC. You're watching One More Game TV2. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. We got Game 3 of this best of 3 coming up next. Stick with us.